Praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem HaKadosh. Double honors to elders and apostles, chiefly of GMS. We're the real Hebrew Israelites, consisting of Judah, which is the Negroes, which is Benjamin, which are the West Indians, Levi, the Haitians, Simeon, the Dominicans, Zebulon, the Guatemalans, the Panamans, Ephraim, the Puerto Ricans, Manasseh, the Cubans, Gad, the North American Indians, Reuben, Seminole Indians, Naphtali, the Argentinians to the Chileans, Asher, the Colombians to Uruguayans, and Issachar, which are the Mexicans. So, I just want to do a quick reading from Mark, or 2 Corinthians. Let's see. I'm going to go into Mark or Matthew. Let's try Mark 13 actually. I think Mark 13 would be good. Can't get my scriptures together. And Yahushua answering said unto them, Seest thou these great buildings? There shall not be one left, one stone upon the other, that shall not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives against the temple, Peter and James and John and Andrew asked him privily, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled? And Yahushua answered. Sorry. And Yahushua answered, Take heed lest any man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. And that's what we have now. We've got a lot of everybody and his wife. The world and his wife at the moment are the real Hebrews. The world and his wife know the truth. The world and his wife have the correct breakdowns, but I am admonishing you and exhorting you to only really listen to the people of GMS and their affiliates, because from my own research, they're the only people that have it correct. And I kind of always remember the scene from that Indiana Jones film, The Holy Grail, where he has to choose. There's all these glittering cups, and he has to choose which of the glittering cups is the Holy Grail, or the cup that Yahushua drank from on the Last Supper. And he chose the cup of a carpenter. He didn't go for the glitz and glamour, which would be IUIC, or the thing that was the biggest, or the thing that was the shiniest, or the thing that was the loudest. He went for the humblest individuals and the people who aren't asking for money, or the people, So that was GMS, and it's really a sign. You really think about who Yahushua would be hanging with. If Yahushua was back on earth right now, what group decided to name it? I think you would find it as GMS. Carrying on, verse 7. And when ye shall hear wars and rumours of wars, be ye not troubled, for these things must needs be, but the end shall not be yet. So at the moment we're looking at Russia and the Ukraine at war. We're looking at possible wars between Israel and Iran. We're looking at wars between the Palestinians and the Iranians. We're looking at, it's kind of more cold for the moment, but the Chinese invading Taiwan, possible conflict with China, and possible conflict between NATO and Russia if they continue to support Russia. But take heed, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. It's just what we're seeing. And there shall be earthquakes, and the earthquakes have recently really been kicking off. So let's just break it down, right? Let's make it simple. This is what Yahushua told us will be the sign of the end. And we're seeing all these signs. So, unless you're not believing in the Bible, you've got to really take stock of where we are. But take heed to yourselves, for they shall deliver you up to the councils, and in the synagogues you shall be beaten, and you shall be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them. And the gospel must first be published among all nations, and that's what we're doing, pushing this out through the internet. And like I know the brothers having from all different, there's lots of different camps, right? But if you're new to this thing, I'll go with GMS, because they are the consistent, and they say they got the 100% truth, and I believe them, because at the end of the day, I ain't heard one question that's come back and hasn't been consistent and hasn't made sense. They're like undefeated, and all of they don't really enter into discussions, but I haven't heard anybody say anything that makes sense against them. I don't just listen to them. In fact, it's important to be a bit like the Church of Berea. You have to prove all things and hold fast to that which is good. So, I do the research. I do go into the scriptures. I do look through the things and make sure they're consistent. I've gone into the history. I've gone into the Roman Empire. I haven't gone that much into the Babylonian slavery part in history, but I've been to the British Museum. I go in and I gotta say, man, they are, they're undefeated. Carrying on. But take heed to yourself, they shall deliver you up to the councils and the synagogues, you shall be beaten, you shall be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them. And the gospel must first be published among all nations, right? And that's getting pushed out throughout the internet as we speak. But when they shall lead you and deliver you up, take no thought beforehand what you shall speak, neither do ye premeditate, but whatsoever shall be given unto you in that hour that speak ye, for that it's not that ye that speak, but the Holy Ghost. So what it's saying there is, when they come for you, you don't need to try and premeditate what it is that you're going to talk about. The Lord will have your tongue for you, Now brother shall betray brother to death, and the father and son and children shall rise up against their parents, and shall cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. But when ye shall see the abomination, desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet. So I'm going to stop there and just talk a little bit about the next subject, which is this whole thing with the red heifer and the third temple. Let's see if we can get something on that, which is, see, when Yahushua brought that, when he said he can bring back the temple in 3 days, right? So what we got right now, we've got the small hats, and they're of the opinion that they're going to create a new temple. They're of the opinion that they're going to raise the third temple that's going to bring back, because it's prophesied in the Tanakh that after the building of the third temple, the Messiah will return, and that is consistent with the scriptures, and that is true. But the third temple isn't a temple that is, what is it? The third temple isn't a temple made out of bricks and mortar, but it's a temple made out of the people of the kingdom. The temple is made from the Israelites, the elect. That is the temple, and we can prove that because in the Bible it says that Yahushua told the people that he could, if they destroyed the temple, tore it down, he could build it up in 3 days. Now that's not, well, obviously it's possible for Yahushua, but that wasn't what he was talking about. He was talking about I can reignite this seed that he's planted in the 12 apostles and bring back that temple within 12 days. So it's not a temple of bricks and mortar. And I think Apostle Tar went into what the deeper meaning of heifer was. It wasn't necessarily about cows. So what we can see is that Esau is still trying to, aka Amalek, aka the bastard that dwelleth in Ashdod. And if you look in on the map, you'll see that Ashdod is a place that is surrounded in Palestine, and to dwell is not necessarily is where you stay. It's not necessarily where you originated from. So the Holy Scriptures have said that the bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and if we look at the lineage of Amalek, he came from one of Esau's, I think it's Esau's grandson or his great grandson, and he was a concubine of, I think it's Tilia or someone like that. He was the mother was a concubine, so her child had no name. Amalek is in fact a bastard, so it is the Amalek bastard, aka, and we know that the Amalek, we go into the history of it, we know that Amalek came from one of the Khazars. So we know that that bastard that's dwelling in Palestine today is in fact Amalek, and so we know who that is. But the whole temple that Esau's building right now is a fallacy, and it's just them trying their hardest to force the hand of God and create a new and to make themselves fit the scriptures by by holding Israel from the sea to the land of Jerusalem, which is just, they're forcing it by trying to kill everybody out, the whole of all the other nations out of that land. But that's not even going to happen. That's not really gonna run. So you can't force the hand of God, and it says that in the scriptures. I think it's in Psalms. It says, who can straighten what I've made crooked, and who could make crooked what I've straight. I've just deemed to be straight, something like that, to those effects. Kind of butchering the scriptures a bit, but you can't change what God has ordained. And He will have His will. The Lord will have the will as He likes it. So we can see there that Esau, with the red heifer, is trying to force the hand of God, and this whole thing with this cross, Ptah, that this eclipse that's coming down at the moment into this eclipse that's happening on Monday the 8th. We're going to see that that is a sign, because we know that from Genesis that the moon and the stars were given to be signs and symbols for the kingdom. So we know that's a sign, but we also know that the left-hand side uses signs as well. Like, I knew this woman before I was in the truth. I knew this woman. She practiced witchcraft, and she was saying that they use the moon. You see, it's just the idiots in the middle, and the people that are probably on the left-hand side, they're using the moon and the planets for their symbols. On the right-hand side, they're using the moon. I was looking into sable is a colour, but it also, just like what the gangs used to do in New York, they used to rep different colours to rep different sides, to rep different areas, or to rep different sects, right? So they used to use colours. Now, sable is a colour from the fraternship of Saturn. That was in Black's Law Dictionary. If you look up Black's Law Dictionary, you look up the definition of sable. He says if you blaze them by colour, you use sable. If you blaze them by jewels, you use diamond. Those both represent the fraternship of Saturn, and Saturn is is analogous to satanic worship and stuff. And you see that there's quite a few people in our organisations, particularly judges, maybe priests as well, who traditionally they roll up in sable. Like in the courtroom, it's I studied law and stuff for quite a while. In the courtroom, you're supposed to wear black. It's the it's the custom, it's tradition, the obligation to wear black in the courtroom, especially if you're a professional person that works inside the legal system. You're obliged to wear black. If you look up the colour of sable is black, so you have to understand that there's a lot of both the right hand side and the left hand side. It's just the idiots in the middle who just kind of going by some bullshit Gregorian calendar and saying that Sabbath is on the Saturday or whatever, all this bullshit. So let's get it right. If you look at the real small hats, the deep small hats, or the small hats that are orthodox small hats, you'll see that they're also rocking sable. So make of that what you will. Where was I? Yeah. So we're coming into the left-hand side and the right-hand side. This coming eclipse is a sign for both the left-hand side and the right-hand side of people. On Monday the 8th, I don't know what time it's going to be in the UK, but the eclipse is going to draw across 7 years after 7. The last eclipse was in 2016, I believe, and this eclipse is 2024. So I think it's around 2017, about 7 years after the first eclipse, and then the path that goes through varies. showing that this eclipse is a massive sign from God, and there's a lot of strange things that the ESO's putting out there, like strange warnings saying there's going to be blackouts and closing. Expecting a big thing. Now we can't take away from the possibility that Esau is just trying to do something. He might be trying to do some kind of Project Bluebeam sort of thing to make it look like he fits the scriptures, like Amalek desperately seeking Amalek is still desperately seeking his inheritance, right? So he might try and make it look. He might try and sacrifice a red heifer and make it look like something's happened, some bullshit. But we're the watchers and the waiters, and we it does say in the scriptures. I'm not going to get that. When your redemption draws nigh, you should look up. I think it's Jeremiah 10, but. Okay, it's Luke 21 and 28. And when these things shall come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draws nigh. So with that, I'm going to say shalom, and it's on to the next one.